Hello, you guys! Welcome to a highly anticipated album review for this channel, Gorillaz Song Machine Season 1, Strange Times. So before I get really started here, I just want to go ahead and mention that it did take me a little bit of time to actually get this review out after the official album leak from a few days ago. I just really wanted to have a lot of time to really sit down with the album and kind of assess how I feel about it in my own terms, and not just kind of rush out something like I normally seem to do when it comes to these Gorillaz videos, because I don't know, I like to get into I kind of was getting into the habit of like listening to one of the new releases like 3-4 times over and then just immediately jumping into a video. But this time I really wanted to take my time with it, and I haven't quite figured out some things with this album in terms of like ranking and how I feel about it in the general like discography, how I feel about it. But the album itself, it's pretty fucking killer, I gotta say. Especially when we look at the first 11 tracks. If we look at the really basic standard track listing on this thing, I don't see a single problem with it. I think everything here is in high quality. I think the production is beautiful on all these tracks. It's really nice to actually hear some live instrumentation again. And before I get too deep into this, I just want to go ahead and say right now, it's going to sound like I'm kind of bashing the past two albums a few times in this video, but please keep in mind that I do not have any hate towards the Now Now or Humans, okay? I love both of those albums fully. If you watch my ranking video, Humans is my second favorite Gorillaz album of all time, okay? So that's just a personal opinion that I had at the time. I don't know if that's going to change with this or not now, because it has definitely thrown a wrench in here. Because, man, there are some really, like, I guess the biggest difference here that I'm having with this album that I haven't had with past Gorillaz albums is a really close, emotional, touching experience with a few tracks on this thing. Which the only time that I really experienced that with Gorillaz before is the last track on the Now Now, Sukai. This album here is giving me like 5 or 6 experiences that are just like that. So it's really pushing it over the edge for me just based on that alone. I'm going to get into the detail about what those certain tracks are as we go through the entire track listing here, because of course we're going to talk about the deluxe edition. I mean, like, you know, you just can't listen to the standard edition of any of these Gorillaz albums. I don't even understand the point of why they put the deluxe edition songs on a separate disc when you get the CD. Why do they do that? Just tack it on to the end of the album, okay? I don't know, it just throws off the experience for me personally. This album here, I feel like makes a little bit more sense if they wanted to separate it out, because there was a clear interlude track on Humans that was separating out the standard edition from the deluxe edition. So, you know, it would have faded together pretty nicely. But it's a little bit different on here, but ooh boy, ain't this a ride. Okay, so we're going to start on Strange Times. When I initially first saw the track listed of this, I thought it was kind of odd to open up the album on this track, but now I do think it's actually a pretty strong opener. I do like the really kind of dark and mysterious like tones of this track, and we've talked about it before, but Robert Smith's vocals on his thing are just killer. He sounds just as good as he did in The Cure. You know, it's just, it's really, really good. I really love this track. It's really mysterious. It's really dancey track, too. Especially when those drums kick in about the middle of the track. I mean, I just love it when the track fully goes out like that. Because it holds itself back for a good amount of time before it actually gives it everything it has, and I think that just makes the experience so much better when it forces you to actually wait for that drop. And it's a great song. It really grew on me a whole lot from the Song Machine episode where it was featured. I mean, it really has. At first, I didn't care for it that much, but now I really, really like this song. Moving on for that, we have the absolute banger and one of the best songs of the entire Gorillaz catalog, The Valley of the Pagans, featuring Beck. And my God, if the demo was anything to go off of, I knew this song was going to be great. And the finished version is just incredible. This song is so much fun. I love the kooky-ass lyrics. I love the delivery. Beck is sounding great on this thing. I mean, this almost sounds like something that he himself could write, which I think just makes this such a great collaboration altogether. The instrumental version is also really, really cool to listen to. You kind of get those backing tones that you can't really make out as well with the lyrics. It's really, really great produced song. And man, is it fun. It's just so upbeat. I just wish it was longer. That's like the only problem that I have with this track. Yeah, just kooky. It's fun. I love It's Time to Potty. It's time to potty. And then the best part of the song is after Beck says that. I think that's a really, really cool transition. Love that part. Yeah, just a great banging song. The next track on here, The Lost Chord featuring Lee John. I have never really heard Gorillaz doing somewhat of an R&B kind of song almost, and man, does it just like, oh, take me to the garden. I just like, it touches my soul. It makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It gives like a little shiver down my backbone. I mean, like it just, oh my god, it touches me. This is one of the tracks I was talking about that kind of has like this kind of like otherworldly feel to it. It just takes me to new heights, and I just absolutely love this track. It's really, really emotional. Damon's sounding really, really emotive on this track too. I love the way he's like crying out the lyrics and stuff like that, and it's just the progression of the track is really, really cool. I love the bass line on this track too, just really, really cool. Take me to the garden, the lost chord. Love that backing vocal thing in there. It's just, ooh, such a smooth, almost sexy song. Then go into Pac-Man, one of the most fun songs on the whole album. I just love the instrumental on this track. Love the lyrics too. Like I've said before in my original review, when Damon goes into that more like that minor key, you can hide your head. I just love that part of the song. I just wish it repeated again at the end, because I still feel like this song kind of ends too abruptly at the end of Schoolboy Q's verses. I still think that should have been tweaked a little bit more, the ending of this track. But all in all, I love Damon's parts, and I love that Schoolboy Q's verse is actually spitting some fire and some real facts, and I just really, really love this track. So much fun, so vibrant, so colorful, well produced, as all of these songs have been, which I didn't feel like was really done justice on Humans. In my original Humans review from years ago, I mentioned how it feels like the tracks aren't really going hard enough, or there's something missing on the underneath that isn't like making these songs as much of bangers as they should be, as their live versions are. Like the studio version doesn't give you that kind of energy that the live versions put out. I don't feel that with this album, and I think they actually kind of nailed it. So, yeah, like I said in my impressions video after we got all those snippets, I do feel like this album is Humans, but better. I mean, like, there's a feature on every single track, just like Humans, and I just feel like the features are placed better, and Damon actually knows that we want to hear 2D's vocals, so he's placed himself on, like, almost every track on this album, and I think it's worked appropriately, and it feels more like Gorillaz because of that. And I think that's another reason why fans are more turned on to this than Humans as well. So anyway, just love Pac-Man, great song. Then we move on to Chalk Tablet Towers featuring St. Vincent. This one is more like a straight up, like, kind of like a keyboard, heavy synthesizer usage. Really, really cool. I love the really catchy chorus. Really, really cool. St. Vincent sounds great backing up 2D on this track. Really, really cool. And I also really love like the kind of 8-bit kind of like old NES video game sounding solo at the end of the track. It sounds like something from Anamanaguchi or the Scott Pilgrim versus the World soundtrack. Just really, really cool synth heavy track. Just smooth. It's a really smooth, silky, upbeat song, and sounds beautiful. After that, we got the Pink Phantom featuring Black and Elton John, and it sounds as beautiful as it did when I first reviewed it. Elton John is sounding very emotive on this track, and I have warmed up to Black's auto-tune vocal so much. I think it fits so well in this song now. It really took a long time for me to get used to it, because at first I didn't think it was mixing that well, especially with this kind of like more like a ballad piano kind of song they were going for. But now I think Black kind of mixes in well with the style of song they're going for, especially near the end. I really like it when 2D and 6 Black are kind of changing or trading off or singing at the same time together near the end of the track. I think it sounds beautiful. So that's great. And then we move into Aries, which is a straight up 80s synthesizer jam. a little bit different than Chalk Tablet Towers. I mean, this one sounds like it came straight off of a New Order album because it features Peter Hook, and man, is it so good! I love the electronic drums going on. The bass line from Peter Hook is like iconically him, which is so great that you can tell. And the synthesizers sound great, and it feels like I'm falling in. Just beautiful, beautiful vocals coming from 2D on that. Just sounds great. Love Aries as much as I did the first time I heard it. Moving on after that, we have Friday the 13th, which at the beginning, did not like this song when it first came out. I thought it was just kind of a chill, like kind of down tune. I've been drinking and smoking too much. That shit damages. But now I really, really like this track a whole lot. It's one of the more slow burners on the album, and I can understand why some people might think it's like one of their least favorites still. I can understand that for sure. But I think it's a great song. I have absolutely no problem with it now, and I think it's catchy as hell now. I'm actually getting the chorus, verse vibe from this track, and I kind of know that it's progression now that I've listened to it a million times, and I actually quite enjoy this song quite a lot now. It's really, really cool. Moving on to that, we have one of my absolute top favorites on this album, Dead Butterflies. This one also has more like of a R&B feel, but it's more of an old school kind of R&B feel. Like I said in my snippet video, it almost feels like an early 2000s kind of R&B kind of thing, or something like that. It's hard for me to explain. It reminds me of something, but I just can't put my finger on it. But Dead Butterflies, man, I think this is also one of the best uses of the features on here too, because this Roxani Arias, this female vocalist that they have on this track, I really love her vocals, and I love her short little feature that she has on this track. I think she sounds great. I might have to check out some of her personal music because it's really, really cool. And Kano's verse on here too, you know, he's one of the main rappers on a White Flag from Plastic Beach, and really, really love it. I think it fits with the tone of the music perfectly. Just the tone of this track, the smoothness. Damon's chorus line is just so catchy on this thing. Be like dead butterflies. Just love it. Just everything about this track is just smooth. It touches me emotionally. It makes me tear up a little bit. Makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Ah, such a beautiful track. Such a gorgeous track. And then we go into what has to be one of my top 3 favorites of this whole fucking project, the track Désolé. It's the second song that we ever heard from this thing back in February, and it is still one of the best tracks on this album. I absolutely love it to death. I do think it's weird that Damon had to re-record the first verse of this track from when we first heard it back in February. Désolé contraband, and then he went and re-recorded it. Désolé contraband. I think it sounded fine the first way, but whatever he wants to do. Great song. I just love like the instrumentation on this is so crisp, and you can tell that it's actually real instruments being used, unlike on Humans, where everything was so synthetic. You could just tell everything was made electronically, but this is just sounding so freaking cool. I love like the foreign instruments that are going on this track too. Fatoma Daria, I can't say her name, but she sounds amazing on this track too. Just love it so much. And then ending out Standard Edition is the first track that we ever heard on this thing, Momentary Bliss, featuring Slow Tie and Slaves. It's a punk song. It's a straight up punk song. It reminds me of the song Punk from the first album, or M1A1 from the first album, or even White Light to an extent. It just has that same kind of energy to it, same kind of punky feel, and it's awesome. I think Gorillaz could use a few more songs that feature heavy guitar influence. So yeah, absolute winner for me. So that kind of rounds out the standard edition of the album, which I think is flawless, as you could tell from front to back. It's when we get into the deluxe tracks that I do run into a few issues, but they're getting more and more minor the more I listen to it, but there are some things that are kind of sticking with me. We open on the track Opium, and I gotta tell you guys, the track Opium here, this might be my absolute favorite song on this entire project. For one, it's the longest Gorillaz song that we've had ever since Hong Kong on D-sides. I absolutely love the 2-minute build-up, the synthesizer build-up, until Earth Gang starts rapping on it. It reminds me of someone said in my comments that it sounds like Homework era Daft Punk. and I can totally understand what they would say that. The instrumental does kind of remind me of that too. But I love the build up. When Earth Gang's vocals start coming in, and he has that high flow, that high energy, and the synths are just building, and then Damon comes in with that really emotional chorus. Hope the raging lights will shine. Just, I mean, just like the synthesizers and the instrumentation is nothing to be like, it's nothing smooth or anything like that. It's really high energy, but for some reason it still gives me like these feels that make me want to cry at the same time, when especially on Damon's parts. And absolutely, as the track just keeps on going on and just keeps having this consistent energy for the whole runtime, we get this sick ass jazzy piano like breakdown near the end of the track, and I just absolutely love it. It reminds me of old jazz music, the way this piano is being played to end out the album, or the end out the track, and it just blows my freaking mind every time I hear it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love this song so much. It has to be absolutely one of my favorites, probably one of my favorite Gorillaz tracks of all time now. Yeah, Opium is the shit. It should have been on the standard version of this album. Maybe even should have closed this album, honestly. I think it would have been a great closing track to end on this note, because it is a high fucking note. Ooh, my God, just shivered down my backbone once again. Here is one of the first red flags of the album, though, the track Simplicity featuring Jonas Policewoman. I really like some of the stuff that she did on her own. I went and listened to a few of these artists just to get a sense of what their own music sounds like, and I really like her vocals. I was just a little disappointed on how sparingly she was used on this track. Like, she's in the first like 20-30 seconds of the track, and then the track never really changes up. I really do like this kind of like distant like string violin section that plays throughout the track, but the track never switches tone. Damon is constantly like mumbling through the entire track. I can't understand what anybody is saying on this thing, which also kind of annoys me. I mean, the track is relaxing. I mean, that's like the one positive I can give it, but even being under 3 minutes, it feels like the track is longer than it is, just because I don't think it's particularly interesting. I don't know. Like I said, it's good for relaxing, I guess, if you just want it to breeze by, but that's not really what I want when I'm listening to a new Gorillaz album. So, I don't know. I think Simplicity should have went back to the drawing board and done a little bit more thought out, I suppose. The track Severed Head, featuring Gold Link and Unknown Mortal Orchestra. Oh my God, the synthetic beat on this thing. Shivers down my backbone, makes me want to cry. This is another one of those moments. This album, just back and forth on this. I think this is the last song I'm going to mention that. It's so good. It's so good. I absolutely love Gold Link's verses on here, and I love the like almost kind of creepy verse that Damon has on this thing, or 2D. And then Unknown Mortal Orchestra comes over the top of that with his really iconic voice as well. And he's spitting some bars, and man, that beat on this track, man, it's just, ooh, it's just so emotional to me. It just like tugs at my heartstrings. I just absolutely love the track Severed Head. Another red flag on this album, though, is the next track on here, With Love to an Ex. I did not care for Moonchild Sanley's vocals on her solo stuff, and I do not care for it here. I don't think she sounds that bad during the verses. It's just the really annoying chorus. This damn sliding into my DMs bullshit and stuff like that. I just don't really get it. Musically, I really like the ding 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 ding, like the almost, it sounds like a Asian Chinese kind of instrument going on in the background. I do love when the horns are coming up near the end of the track, but I do find it to be a little annoying. I don't know. It's just I'm not totally in love with this track either. The track MLS is pretty fun. I do enjoy the track MLS. I think Chai sounds really, really cool. I really love their parts of the track. JPEG Mafia, it's a really fun rap song. I really love how upbeat it kind of floats on by pretty quick. It's not one of my favorite tracks on the album, but I do still think it's a lot of fun. I really like the really fun instrumental that they have going in the background between the two of them. Really cool song. Then we have the track How Far featuring Tony Allen and Skepta. I'm not a huge fan of this song, as you guys know. I do think the track should have changed up a little bit more. I just don't really care for the backing instrumental. I think it feels kind of awkward. And it's like a barrage of words in the rap here. I don't know. I'm just not really feeling this song that much. Maybe it'll still grow on me with time, but not so far. And before we get out of here, I will talk about the Taxi Back to 80s Reykjavik, the bonus track on the Japanese edition of Song Machine. Really, really great instrumental. I think it's really, really cool that we got another instrumental track for this phase of Gorillaz. Most of Gorillaz phases at least have one instrumental song. I don't think we really got one on Humans. But yeah, Taxi Back to 80s Reykjavik. I really, really like this track. I love the live instrumentation on it. I love the guitar. It does have more of a 80s kind of feel when the synthesizers come in, but it does have a bit of a futuristic kind of feel to it as well. It's pretty short. It's sweet. Good for the Japanese to actually get something this cool on their version of Song Machine. I really, really like this track. I'm looking forward to going into this with more of a fine-tooth comb and kind of creating my own Song Machine playlist, maybe leaving out the tracks that I don't really care for that much, and just having fun with the track listing, see if I can come up with something that flows even better. So that'll be my next objective, I guess. So anyway, all in all, Song Machine here is a total success. I'm really, really happy that Damon is thinking about coming back really, really quickly for season 2. If they're going to start work on it in February of next year, I think that's amazing. I'm pretty sure that Jamie said he'll officially be done with season 1 by December, so I'm going to take him a month off and then get right back into work again. I think it's great. I think it's really, really cool. Do I miss the idea of Gorillaz being more of a concept? I guess so, but at the same time, if they're able to produce music as high quality as this, then I don't know. I think we got a lot to be excited about. Do I think it could be a little less featureless? Yeah. I think it would be cool if it just went back to more of a stripped back, this is just the band playing instead of all these guest stars with them again. I don't know what Damon's obsession is with collaborators, but I don't know. He's trying to introduce people to music that maybe they didn't hear of before. And I don't know. I think he's done a great job. I would have never listened to Little Dragon if she had not been on the Plastic Beach tracks. So, I mean, that kind of opened my ears to her, and now I love Little Dragon. I listen to anything she comes out with now. So anyway, I gotta say, Song Machine's a huge success for me. I mean, it's a straight up 8 out of 10, if not a 9 out of 10. Just love it a little bit more every single time I hear it, and I'm looking forward to more. Stay tuned, you guys. We're going to be unboxing the deluxe vinyl, and we'll also be talking about the almanac at the end of November, because I officially got an email that my almanac has been delayed to the end of next month, which is really disappointing. I was looking forward to talking to you guys about that this month, but we will be unboxing the deluxe vinyl, as I did get my shipping confirmation on that last night. So I do know that's on my way to my house, so expect a video on that hopefully by the middle of next week. So it's been fun, you guys. Enjoy the album. Let me know what you guys think. Tell me your favorite tracks down there below. Mr. 121235. I will see you guys later.